So we're with Jeff
and Paul Brockman. Jeff Hogan and Paul Brockman were co-leaders of the Patriot Picket.
Okay, and you're here in Annapolis today to protest the red flag bill. What would you like to tell the DundalkTV viewers about what you think about them passing the bill and the way that it is?
Well, first I want to say a big shout out to everybody on DundalkTV. We love you guys. We appreciate you so much for coming down here to find out what's going on. My co-leader Paul will tell you a little bit more about the red flag.
Yeah, the red flag bill is terrible. It's a blatant civil rights violation. You pick an amendment and it violates it. The 4th, the 6th, the 14th. There's no, ex parte is just terrible.
Okay, now I was asking you, Jeff, a little bit about the bill, and you said how many pages was it?
It's 31 pages of a thing, almost gobbledygook. I mean, how can anybody understand how to manage this process if they won't be able to carry this process in their back pocket. It's a 31-page handbook. Imagine if somebody was just standing on their porch brandishing a firearm in a dangerous manner. You don't need a 31-page handbook. You only need 911. Make a 911 call. If they have witnesses of somebody acting dangerously with a firearm, they get charged. You don't need 31 pages to describe how that process works. It's very simple. That's one of our objectives. Is the red flag bill is so complicated, so there's so many tricks and traps in it. But our main thing is we don't go past the point. For us, we don't go past the point where a civil rights violation occurs, because you can answer your doorstep, and what happens?
Right. You're greeted by possibly a SWAT team that is there to take your guns, and you had no idea.
You didn't know about it.
You weren't involved in the process of them getting this ERPO. So it's a blatant violation of the 4th, 14th, and 6th Amendment. And it creates a special class of citizens, just firearms owners, because the bill doesn't say that they'll come in and take everything that can be used to harm somebody if they're a danger to themselves or others. They don't come in and confiscate your baseball bats, they don't confiscate your kitchen knives, they don't confiscate the rope you might have hanging around the garage. Anything that can be used to hurt yourselves or others. It's only firearms.
Yeah, imagine that every household is filled with axes, fireplace pokers, claw hammers, everything that can be used in a crime of violence. Yet this law only describes firearms owners as if that's a panacea for something. Now, we're fairly well convinced that it's a confiscation scheme dressed up as a safety scheme. That's what we most object to, especially the part where somebody can secretly get a petition against you. The police show up at your door, you answer the door, and they tell you, you're coming with me, sir, to go in for a mental evaluation, and we're going to take your guns. And in a week, maybe you can get in front of a judge to explain why you're not insane, or why you should be able to get your firearms back. It's just a disgrace. There's no lawmaking like this. Most lawmaking is fairly straightforward. You engage in crime, or if you're dangerously mentally ill. Maryland already has the pathway for dangerously mentally ill people to be taken into treatment programs, to be separated from firearms, and to be separated from other dangerous objects. That's the point. The red flag law only talks about firearms.
Well, you also already had an incident happen with the police, where they had falsely arrested you.
Yeah, we were, their idea was that I and others in the Patriot Picket were impeding the sidewalk at a time of night when there was no traffic on the sidewalk. Yeah, we have an unlawful arrest, and we have a federal civil rights lawsuit in the courts that is still winding through the court system, and we're gonna win that case. But that's what happens when you have these situations where you can just be scooped up based on the say-so of somebody else. Somebody inside the building up in Annapolis, their say-so was, those guys are blocking the sidewalk, let's scoop them up and teach them a lesson. Well, we're going to end up teaching them a lesson with a settlement that's going to be, could be 6 figures. It's going to be awesome, but it's really meant to teach them a lesson. You just can't scoop up patriots because you think that they're impeding or you think they're a threat, or you think their very presence there is something that is degrading the public square. You can't do that, Mr. and Mrs. Government.
Did you have any idea who gave the order for that arrest?
We're going to find out. We're going to
Okay.
find out.
Wow.
We have, we're going to have depositions. We believe that it probably will. People won't talk because we think it goes all the way up to the top of that. Who wants to see us off that sidewalk? But we have the right to have depositions. We're going to go as far as we can.
Okay, now if anyone would like to join you, how can they reach your organization?
The Patriot Picket on Facebook or patriotpicket.org, patriotpicket.com.
And do you have any other demonstrations planned at this point in time? Will you be here Monday again?
Now the session's over, so the Monday night activities that we do are concluded until next year. But there will be, guaranteed, it's starting to be the silly season in Washington, D.C., and we'll have some people who are not friends of liberty out there. We'll definitely be out there to oppose wherever they're at.
There's always an infringer somewhere rubbing his hands together, waiting to try to make life difficult for folks like us. The one thing to remember, there's a chance that if Governor Hogan is stewing over this red flag bill, that if he doesn't veto it in the next week, I think we might be right back out here next Saturday to say, Governor, you got to veto. This is treachery. You need to veto it. There are plenty of laws in place to take care of, one, the dangerously mentally ill, or two, the criminally violent. Those two classes. Between those two classes, everybody else is good to go.
Well, thank you, Patriot Picket, for standing up for our rights.
Thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you, Dundalk TV.